Hello everyone. In our last class, we discussed basic terms of prism, right? Basic terms of prism. Now we are going to discuss a lab activity, right? Then this is also a important lab activity from our 10th class textbook. What is our aim? What is our aim? To find the refractive index of prism. To find the refractive index of a prism. Okay, all right. Then next we have to write materials required. We discussed many times. While writing the lab activity, we have to follow the steps. Aim, materials required, procedure, diagram, observation, final conclusion. Good it. Then what are the materials we require to do this activity, to find the refractive index of the prism? Here we use a prism and pins, protractor, okay, and a pencil, scale, white paper or white chart. These are the materials are required to do the activity. Okay, prism to get refraction. We have to know the uses of these materials. Pins and a protractor to measure the angle of incidence and the angle of emergent and the angle of refractions and the angle of deviation, okay, and angle of prism. Here we are getting more angles, no, right? That to measure that angles we use the protractor, and pencil and the scale are used to complete the ray diagram. Okay, right. This is the material sector. These are the materials required. The next procedure. Next procedure. Take a white chart. Take a white chart and fix it to the drawing board. Okay. Take a white chart and fix it to the drawing board. I have fixed it. These block dots are showing the fixer, the white chart to the drawing board. Okay. And take a prism. Take a prism and keep it in the middle of the paper. Take a prism and keep it in the middle of the paper and draw the outlines of the prism with help of the pencil. Okay, you can feel it. This is not a prism. Imagine it, it is a prism. Then keep the prism. Imagine it, it is not a prism. Okay, right. Then if you feel it is a prism, then keep the prism in the middle of the white chart and with the help of the pencil, then draw the outlines of the prism. Draw the outlines of the prism. Right. Then I have drawn, these are the outlines of the prism. Okay. And name the vertices like X, Y, Z. Got it? X, Y, Z. And after, with the help of the protractor, measure the angle of prism. Measure the angle of prism. Which is angle of prism? We discussed in the last class. The angle made between the two refracting surfaces is called as angle of prism. We discussed in our last class or not? Right. Which is the refracting surface here? XY and XZ. Then this angle is called angle of prism. With the help of the protractor, measure the angle of prism. You know that how to use the protractor. I have practiced well in mathematics. Right. Then with the help of the protractor, then measure the angle of prism. Got it? And take a protractor And first of all, identify one point on plane xy. Right, got it. And keep the protractor and identify the 30 degrees. Take a 30 degrees. And with the help of the scale, draw the 30 degrees line. At point of incidence, draw the line. Then this ray is act as incident ray. Incident ray. Got it? Then here draw the normal. Draw the normal at point of incident. Then how much we have taken the angle? 30 degrees. Or otherwise, identify the point on the plane xy and keep the protractor and find the 30 degrees from the normal. And here I got the 30 degrees and remove the protractor and draw it. Okay. Then after, fix 2 pins. Fix 2 pins vertically on the line on incident ray. On incident ray. Got it? Then name these pins A and B, for example. Okay, A and B. Fix 2 pins on the incident ray. Got it? And keep the prism on its own position. Again, take the prism and keep it on its position. Okay, right. After keeping the prism, see the pins A and B. See the pins from A and B. I will complete it. Okay. Then see the pins A and B from other surface, from other side of the prism. Here we have 2 refracting surfaces. No, then at this xy, at first refracting surface, we have fixed the 2 pins A and B, and see the images of the pins A and B from other surface, and fix 2 more pins. Fix 2 more pins which are in the straight line. Then while seeing the pins A and B from this surface, these images of these pins are appears here and here. Got it? While seeing the pin images of A and B from this surface, then they appears their images here. Right? Here you feel it is a B1, sorry, B dash and A dash. These are images, right? Okay, images of A and B. A dash, B dash are images of A and B. Then it appears when we are seeing from other side of the prism. That means other refracting surface, or otherwise from second refracting surface. This is considered as first refracting surface. No, if we see the images of A and B from second refracting surfaces, those images are appears here. Then try to fix 2 more pins that should be in the straight along this A and B. Okay, got it? Then here and here. Got it? Then here name these pins as for C and D. Right? Then when we observe the pins images of A and B from second surface of the prism, this A dash, B dash, C, D is appears in a straight line, or in one line. Okay. Then after remove the prism, and rejoin, then draw the line towards the xy from the point of the pins C and D. Okay, from the point of D and C, the straight line. Okay, got it? Remove the prism and the pins and draw the straight line from C and D towards the refracting surface. One more refracting surface. Okay, there you can draw the, from the point of incidence, draw the normal to it, and this angle is called as emergent angle. What angle? Emergent angle. The measure the angle of emergent with the help of the protractor. Got it? And join the point. This is point of incident. For let this point of incident M, this point of incident N. Then join the point of incident M and N. Got it? Have understood? Then it is a point of incident for incident ray is M, point of incident for emergent when we drawn, that is N. Then here Mn is, it shows the angle of refracted ray. Here it shows AB, incident ray, and Mn shows what? Refracted ray. The CD shows the path of emergent ray. Finally, A, B, M, N, C, D shows the path of light ray traveling through the prism. Got it? Right. Measure the angle of emergent with the help of the protractor, and with the help of the protractor measure the angle of refraction 1 and angle of refraction 2. Got it? And after extend the incidence ray in forward and emergent ray in backward. That means here, if we extend this emergent ray backward, that emergent ray is inside, then touches the images of A dash B dash. Why? Because while fixing these two pins, we have observed the images of these pins A and B only. No, that's why, right? Then this angle is called as angle of deviation. Right? And note down the observations. Right? Angle of incidence, or take directly I, angle of incidence, and emergent angle and angle of deviation. Then do it with 30 degrees, 35 degrees and 40 degrees and 45 degrees, so and so. So repeat the activity with the different angles. That means different angle of incidence, and note down the angle of emergent in each and every case and angle of deviation in each and every case. This is our observation. Okay, this is our observation. Then finally, from these values, we can able to find the refractive index of a prism by using the principle that we have write as a conclusion. Okay, we can use the principle n equal to sine of a plus d by 2 by sine a by 2. This principle is experimentally proved to find the refractive index of the prism n equal to sine a plus d by 2 by sine a by 2. From this activity, we will get d means angle of deviation and a means angle of pressure. And here you have to notice, then after entering these all the values, here we came to know one interesting factor. Got it? That we are going to draw. By using the data what we collected from the observation, by using that, draw a graph on graph paper. You know that graph consists of two axes, x-axis and y-axis. and on x axis we have to take in angle of incidence, right. On y axis we have to take angle of deviation values. Okay, on x axis we have to take the values of angle of incident, and y axis we have to take angle of deviation. Sir, why should take angle of incidence on x axis, right? Why can't we take angle of deviation on x axis? According to mathematics, the independent values we have to take it on x axis always. That we will get many graphs in light and in motion chapters, or in electricity, almost in all physics chapters we may get graphs. Here only one answer. Then on x axis we have to take only independent values, and on y axis we have to take dependent values, right. By changing the then angle of incidence, the angle of deviation is changing or not. I will do this activity with 30 degrees, that is my wish. Then here 30 degrees, then this is independent, right. 40 degrees, that is my wish. That means the depending on angle of incidence, the angle of deviation is changing or not, right. Then here we have to notice it, remember it. Then always on x axis we have to take independent values, and always on y axis we have to take dependent values. So here incident angle is independent, and angle of deviation is depend on angle of incident. Got it? While changing the angle of incident, then when I have taken a 30 degrees, here for example you get 45 degrees, then here I have taken 35 degrees, may you get 43 degrees, here you get when I have taken 40 degrees, may you get 40 degrees. That means here while changing the angle of incident, angle of deviation is changing, no, that's why, right. Okay, right. After by this observation, from what data we collected from the given from our experiment, then by using these values we have to draw a graph on it. Then you can notice that the graph gets like this. Got it? Then here from the graph how to notice it, when angle of incidence is increases, the angle of deviation is decreasing. In our last class we discussed that the angle of deviation is depends on angle of incident. The factors affecting the angle of deviation, 4 factors. What are the 4 factors? First one is angle of incidence, second one materials required, right, refractive index of the material, and the third one wavelength of light used, fourth one angle of prism. In that first one what we discussed, angle of incidence, no. Then here if angle of incidence is increases, the angle of deviation is decreasing, and after reaching a certain point again the angle of deviation is increasing along with the angle of incidence. In one case, okay, until to reach a certain point the angle of incidence is increases, angle of deviation is decreasing, and after that particular point then angle of incident and as well as angle of deviation both are increasing, right. Then here draw a tangent at a minimum at a lowest. From the base of the graph draw a tangent that is horizontal to the x axis, right. Tangent means you know that the line which is touched at one point on the curve, right. Then this horizontal line, this tangent is horizontal to x axis, then this tangent is touches the y axis, then that case is gives the that angle is gives the minimum angle of deviation, then angle of minimum deviation. For example, then minimum angle of deviation, for example here 30, you can take 35, then 40 and 45 and 50 and 55. for example. Then in this case, then angle of what I said, angle of deviation is decreasing from up to a certain point, then after it is increasing, right? Then when angle of incident is increases, in this case the angle of deviation is decreased up to the 40 degrees, then after reaching the 40 degrees again it is increasing. Got it? Right? Then in this case the angle of deviation is decreasing more than still less than 40. No, 40 is the cutoff, right? Then the minimum angle of deviation is reaches up to 40. From the 40 it is increasing, right? So that's why these prisms, then minimum deviation, angle of minimum deviation is 40. In this case, for example, right, then always the angle of minimum deviation is designated with D, right? Got it? Here the thing you have to notice that when how angle of incident is affecting the angle of deviation means while increasing the angle of deviation, while increasing the angle of incidence, angle of deviation is decreases until to reach the minimum angle of deviation, and after then angle of deviation again it increases along with the angle of incidence. This observation we have to notice it. Got it? And here draw the point of a tangent, one more horizontal line to the y axis, this time to the y axis, then it gives the angle of incidence. It gives the angle of incidence. At this point here we have to observe two things, Nana. When angle of minimum deviation is suppose, then angle of incidence equal to angle of emergent. You have to notice very important thing. Got it, Nana? Right? When the angle of minimum deviation is suffered, then angle of incidence is equal to angle of emergent. And one more thing, then R1 equal to R2. Got it? Have understood? When then it reaches the angle of minimum deviation only in this case, right? Only in this case, then incident angle is equal to emergent angle, and at the same time R1 equal to R2. Here in a graph in prism we got it, right? This is R1 and R2. This is incident angle, this is emergent angle. When the angle, then angle of minimum deviation is formed, in such case I equal to these two becomes equal, and at the same time these two becomes equal. This is a factor then while changing the angle of incidence. This is very important graph. You will get one question in 10th class annual examination. He will give simply the graph. He will give simply this graph and he will ask that. For example, this is a graph and a 40 degrees. He gave 40 degrees and so 30 degrees and 35 and 40 and 45, 50, so and so. He will give the graph and he will ask what is the minimum angle of deviation. He won't give these lines. He will give the graph like this and he will ask the question, what is the minimum angle of deviation? In such case, what we have to do? We have to draw the horizontal to the x-axis, and where it touches it gives the minimum angle of deviation. Then in this case D equal to 40, and he will ask what is the angle of emergent. But on the graph, in the graph angle of, he has given any information about the angle of emergent, but we have to come to know that then in this case angle of incident equal to angle of emergent when the angle of deviation is formed when angle of incident equal to 45 degrees, right? When angle of incident equal to 45 degrees, the minimum angle of deviation is formed. So that's why here angle of emergent is also equal to 45 degrees. Got it? right? Very important topic, and you may get the questions in Polytechnic examination also on based on this graph. Okay, got it. And then finally, once come back to our conclusion, we can find the refractive index of a prism by using the principle, right? By using the principle n equal to sine of a plus d by 2 by sine a by 2. Got it? This is the principle. Here we know is that A stands for angle of prism, and here D stands for angle of minimum deviation, got it? And N stands for refractive index of prism. Got it? This is the principle is used to find the refractive index of the prism, right? Here for example, angle of prism is given as 60 degrees and minimum deviation is given as 30 degrees. Find n equal to. You will given one question. Then example, the angle of prism of a given prism is 60 degrees and its angle of minimum deviation is 30 degrees. Then find the n value. How we will find it, sir? Very simple, by using this principle, n equal to sine of A equal to 60 plus D 30 by 2 by sine 60 by 2. Okay, then n equal to sine 90 by 2 by sine 60 by 2. Then n equal to sine 45 by sine 30. 230 is 245 is. Got it? And here we know is that n equal to sine 45. Sine 45 value is 1 by root 2 and sine 30 value is 1 by 2, right? Then n equal to 2 by root 2. Then we can write root 2 by root 2. N equal to 2 root 2 by 2. 2 gets cancelled. Then n equal to root 2. Then root 2 is the refractive index of a given prism. When the angle of incident is 60 degrees, the angle of minimum deviation is 30, or otherwise we can write it 1.414, the value of root 2. This is a way to find the refractive index of the prism, and this is a way to use the principle to find the refractive index of the prism. Okay, and here once again I will draw this is the prism's one now incident ray. Okay, angle of incidence, angle of deviation, for example minimum deviation, you can take it as okay, deviation, and then normal, incident angle, emergent, R1, R2. Then is there any relation between A, D, I, E? What is A, D, I, D? I, E, right? Then here we have a relation between A, then relation between A, D, I and E. A means angle of incidence, A means angle of prism, D means angle of deviation, I means angle of incident, E means angle of emergent. Then here it is the relation between angle of prism and angle of deviation and angle of incident and angle of emergent is equal to A plus D equal to E I plus E. This is also one of the important principle. You will get the questions in examination based on this principle and this principle, right? This is gives A stands for angle of prism, D stands for angle of deviation, I stands for angle of incidence, and E stands for angle of emergent. Here for example, one example problem. Here angle of deviation is given as a 50 degrees and angle of incident is given as 40 degrees and angle of emergent is given as 30 degrees. What we have to find here? A equal to, he will give the angle of deviation and angle of incident and angle of emergent, and he will ask to find the angle of prism. In such case, then very simple to use this principle. A plus 50 equal to I equal to 40 plus E equal to 30. Then A plus 50 equal to 70 and A equal to 70 minus 50, right? Therefore, angle of prism equal to 20 degrees. This is the way to find the angle of prism when in a given question is given as angle of deviation and angle of incident and angle of emergent. We will use this principle. Got it? And here we have to notice one more relation. What is that relation? Now I will see. Here relation between A, R1 and R2, between here and here and here. This is also important one. Based on this also you will get the question A equal to R1 plus R2. A equal to R1 plus R2. Here, and one question is given in our previous papers in one competitive exam, has given angle of incidence. Example, in one competitive examination is given this question, angle of incident equal to 40 degrees and angle of minimum deviation equal to 30 degrees. Got it? Angle of incident equal to 40 degrees and angle of minimum deviation equal to 30 degrees, and he asked then A equal to and at the same time R1 and R2. Okay, R1 and R2. He asked that. Very important question, right? Angle of incident is given, angle of deviation is given, right? Here, first of all, we have to find the A. Sir, A equal, then relation, this one I will use. A plus D equal to I plus E. Here, minimum angle of deviation is given, right? Here, this is the principle. A plus D equal to I plus E. Here, D means minimum angle of deviation. Now, to find A, here we should need a one then minimum angle of deviation and angle of incident and as well as angle of emergent. Sir, here we didn't give, here we have no angle of emergent, no. Then how we will get it, sir? Here one logic is given, here angle of minimum deviation given. Here we came to know that at the case of angle of minimum deviation, in the case of angle of minimum deviation, always angle of incident equal to angle of emergent. We know that now. We discussed that, right? When minimum angle of deviation is given. So that's why obviously A plus D equal to 30 and I equal to 40. That means this E equal to also 40, no? Then 40. Got it? Then A plus 30 equal to 80 degrees and A equal to 80 minus 30 degrees, that's equal to 50 degrees. This is the way to find the angle of prism when the angle of minimum deviation is given. And after we have to find the R1, R2. Then what is the relation between angle of prism and R1 R2? A equal to R1 plus R2. Sir, how we will find? Here we know only A, no, but here also the one relation we discussed, that in case of a minimum deviation, in case of angle of minimum deviation, R1 equal to R2, isn't it? R1 equal to R2. That means here you can take R, let R is R1 and R2 equal to R1. Right, got it? Then A equal to R1 equal to, I will take as R. Why? Because both are same values, no? Why? Because here minimum angle of deviation is 30. Then plus R, then A equal to R plus R 2R, then R equal to A by 2. R equal to A by 2. Then finally R equal to A equal to how much? Here we got 50. Then 50 by 2, 2 1s are 225s are. Therefore R1 and R2 equal to 25 degrees. Got it? Then here we solved this problem with the logic, this logic, by observing the minimum angle of deviation. Right? Okay, this is how to use the principles related to the prism. Okay, most probably in 10th class level you will get the problems in on prism problems, either n equal to sin I by sin A plus d by 2 by sin A by 2, either this principle, or otherwise A plus d equal to I plus C, or otherwise A equal to R1 plus R2, either in 10th class state syllabus, or otherwise 10th class annual examinations, or otherwise in polytechnic examination also you may get the problems based on these principles only. Once practice and take a few more examples to get perfection of using these principles. Okay, Nana? Right. Then here finally in our last class we discussed that the factors affecting the minimum angle of deviation is incident angle, angle of incidence, right? And how it is affecting? If incident angle is increases, then angle of deviation is decreases until to reach the minimum angle of deviation, and after then angle of deviation is increases. That is first observation. Second factor. What is the second factor? Dependence. Then dependence. Okay. Second factor, refractive index of material. Right? Refractive index of material is also affects the angle of deviation. Right? Got it? How it is? In this case, we will use the halo prism. Prism is halo one. That means empty. This is made by the glasses only, but thin glass, and this halo space is filled with different liquids. For example, water, alcohol, or benzene, so and so. We will fill it. Okay, first fill the water and take angle of incident equal to approximately 50 degrees. Right? Halo one, no, the fill it with the water and repeat the lab activity what we discussed in the previous class as it is. Repeat it. Then note down the emergent angle. Okay, sorry, emergent and as well as angle of deviation. And after, instead of water, fill it alcohol, and after benzene, and so. Right? Then after observing these these values, here you came to know that angle of deviation is directly proportional to the refractive index of a material. Refractive index of a material, n. N shows what? A refractive index. N we will designate with n or otherwise mu, whatever it may be. Okay, angle of deviation is directly proportional to And that means if a refractive index of refractive index of a material increases, then angle of deviation also increases. Okay, got it? Then from this observation we have to know it. Then refractive index of a material is increases, then the angle of deviation also increases. If refractive index of a material is decreases, the angle of deviation is also decreases. Got it? This is second factor. And I said then angle of deviation is depends on wavelength. Second factor is what? Third factor, the angle of deviation is depends on wavelength of light used. Wavelength, or otherwise you can take it as color of light used it. In this case, take a prism, okay, and measure a certain angle, for example, like 50 degrees. Say, here use the red color pins, okay, red colored pins, and complete the activity. Then we have already discussed the procedure in lab activity, no, same as it is, you can complete it. Okay, then note down the values. Angle of incidence is becomes 50 degrees, and angle of emergent you can measure it, and as well as angle of deviation. Got it? Then after, instead of the red color pins, use violet color one, right, with the same angle I equal to 50 degrees and emergent angle and angle of deviation. Measure it. From this observation, after completing this activity, you will get the values now, right? From this observation, you will get the conclusion, angle of deviation is inversely proportional to the wavelength of light used. Here we know that the color or wavelength, I said color or wavelength, different colors has different wavelengths. We will discuss in our next class, okay, right? Then now come to here, then D is inversely proportional to the wavelength of light used. Okay, here wavelength of violet color, V stands for violet, okay, Nana? The wavelength of violet color is less. That means the angle of deviation of violet color is more. This is our conclusion. Angle of deviation is inversely proportional to the wavelength used. Okay, violet color has a less wavelength, so then the violet color's angle of deviation is more. And at the same time, wavelength of red color, here I will use red color, easy to identify, okay, right? Then wavelength of red color, okay, then red color's wavelength is more. Got it? Wavelength of red color is more, then red color's angle of deviation is less. Got it? Like this, then wavelength is also affects the angle of deviation. This is important observations, conclusions from that activity. Then one more factor also affecting the angle of deviation. Okay, what is that? angle of prism. Angle of prism. Last factor, angle of prism. Okay, right. For example, then I have taken prism ABC. Its angle is approximately 60 degrees, and I have taken one more prism with some more angle. It is 70 degrees, and I have taken one more prism with angle is 40 degrees. ABC, ABC. Okay, three different prisms. For example, in this case, you will notice that after completing the activity, like a lab activity, take then with the 50 degrees. In case of 40 degrees, angle of prism is 40 degrees, and the second, in case of angle of prism 60 degrees, do the activity with the same incident angle is 50, and in the case of angle of prism is 70 degrees, then take a incident angle 50 degrees. In all such cases, all three cases, I have taken same incident angle. Then finally, after completing this procedure, you will observe the angle of incident is 50 in all cases. No, then notice, then find out angle of emergent and angle as, and always as well as angle of deviation. After that, you came to know that then angle of deviation is directly proportional to the angle of prism. If angle of prism is more, then angle of deviation is also more. If angle of prism is less, angle of deviation is also less. Here you have to come to know it. Then in the first case, here the angle of prism is less comparing with these two prisms, right? Then here angle of deviation is also less. Here angle of deviation is more comparing with these three prisms. In this case, angle of deviation is also more. These are the four factors. These four factors you have to remember it. You will get in a 10th class annual examination or otherwise in Polytechnic. Most probably you will get competitive exam. In competitive exams, you will get one question based on the factors affecting the angle of deviation. What are the four factors? Then first factor we discussed, angle of incidence, right? If angle of incidence is various, then what observation we got it? The first factor, angle of incidence. If angle of incidence is increases, the angle of deviation is decreases until to reach the minimum angle of deviation. Then after, then angle of deviation is increases along with the angle of incidence. This is the conclusion. Like this, this factor is affecting. Next factor we discussed that refractive index of the material. The refractive index of the material is increases, angle of deviation is increases. If refractive index is of a material is decreases, angle of deviation is also decreases. This is, and third factor, angle of prism, right? If angle of prism is increases, angle of deviation is increases. If angle of prism is decreases, angle of deviation is decreases. And the last factor, the wavelength of light. Okay, then angle of deviation is inversely proportional to the wavelength of light. Okay, if wavelength of light is more, then angle of deviation is less. So that's why in case of red color, angle of deviation is less. In case of violet color, angle of deviation is more. Okay, this is today's class. Thank you.